Anderson Square in Georgetown and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village. Convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. According to the calendar, it's the 14th of February. According to some, that's the day we get to enjoy chocolate. Happy Chocolate Day, Miss Stephanie Dos Santos.
Thank you.
For others, it's the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. What else is today? What else is today?
Well, you just received a very interesting message for Valentine's Day that I think you wanted to share.
We should, we should.
It was funny.
Thank you for saying. I have friends who are pretty.
Well, I guess it depends who receives it, right?
Right. A good friend of mine, has been looking for the perfect Valentine's gift. He searched, all of 5 minutes. It's been up and high and low because Christmas and Valentine's, and you want to get the right gift. So he found, he just bought the wife's Valentine's Day treat. You know what it was? A hot air balloon trip across the U.S. You know what? Maybe there's space for more. But it's good to be, it's good to be able to laugh. I saw one where for the guy was offering a special. His company for $999. They'll come and pick you up on Friday.
Yeah.
And handcuff you, police, squad car, everything, and take you away in handcuffs right in front of your spouse. Bring you back on Thursday. It includes lodging, fishing gear, tackle, the accommodation, everything.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. So for those guys,
I'm so lucky to be on my own.
Still not too late. No, but no, all serious. There is love, and then there is love. There's the amorous love. There's the agape love. There's the love that transcends all love.
There's one love. Only one love.
Only one love, man. And I think it's good to be able to have friends who either had the experience of the years under their belts to be able to share their wisdom to friends who are polyglots, who speak multiple languages, and who are able to share with you that sometimes a word or an action in some cultures have a particular connotation relative to what we may see in our own culture. And that's beautiful. So the word love, like I say, happy, chocolate day, because we love chocolate for some of us to do.
Absolutely. Not everyone loves chocolate, though.
But it's about spreading love. What's our song, Susan? Love is in the air. Come on. Every sign in every song.
Ooh.
I don't. and there's so many songs. Yeah, thank you.
You can see that shoulder move that you have.
Unleash
that beast. It's Valentine's Day.
Go right ahead, girl. Go right ahead. And maybe we should embrace it in many forms. The beauty of what it is to embrace life and to enjoy it, and to be mindful that no man is promised tomorrow. Women maybe, but they say no man is promised tomorrow.
That's true.
On this day, as we celebrate love, something you shared outside, maybe we should start with that as we welcome to the studio, Ms. Stephanie Dos Santos. Love and relationships and love. Well, can we have one without the other?
Relationship without love?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's just going to be a pretty painful relationship, though. But you can go for it.
Nah. I think that's just called a political party.
Okay.
No, I've never seen Susan laugh so much. She must be feeling the love. But what are we going to chat about today? I was thinking about a number of things. I like what you said at the outset as we were thinking. Let's start with that. How we we know each other as people. We perhaps want something from each other, or we want to, but yet we never connect. Or
Talking about the dynamic between men and women in general, right?
Men and women in general, yeah.
Yeah, there's also that that said it about the war of the sexes. And there's also that book that most people are aware of, Man Comes from Mars and Woman from Venus. So then how come is Mars and Venus on planet Earth in the same time and is meant to coexist together, right? So we have to understand that it feels sometimes so painful, right, to understand the other, the opposite sex, right? It feels like we're definitely coming from complete different planets. But if we're here all together, it's because on planet Earth, it's a dual planet. You know, you can never have on planet Earth just a world of positivity. It's always, there's always contrast. Wherever you have pain, you have joy. Wherever you have love, you have fear. Wherever, you know, you have positivity, you have negativity. And it feels sometimes like men and women, we kind of like two pole opposite, and yet there's this magnetism. Right? It's kind of like that love-hate relationship if we fail to understand what the other person is all about. So I think we need to bring it down to understanding what are the intrinsic qualities of a divine masculine and divine feminine. So now when we talk about energy, we forget about the gender. It's not about the gender. Because if we start genderizing feminine energy and masculine energy, this is where we end up being highly fragmented and polarized within ourselves as well. So once we understand, like I took some notes, for the masculine qualities, it's going to be positive ownership. So, but the display that we see in society, it's more men. They know they have something, they're going to use it to assess their control to have what they want. Okay, so the positive ownership is really something that needs to be tapped into. There's the protection. It's the reality that most women feel quite unsafe in the world, and a lot of women are scared of men, right? When actually a man will feel very grounded if he knows that he can provide that protection for a woman, that physical safety. Masculine energy, it's also about the initiating thing. It's the action, it's direction. It's also being fully aware of its own physical strength. So like that, when you go through challenging emotions such as anger, you're fully aware of your physical strength, and there's things that you learn how to control or manage that. Generosity and focus. So these are the qualities, some of the qualities attached to divine masculine. So for the feminine energy, it's the creative, the nurturing, patience. And I insist on patience, right? Because very often I see that a woman, they say, well, I'm being so frustrated because I've asked him to do that a few days ago, and look, it's still not done. Well, be patient. You know, it's also about understanding that he also has his own world, he's got his own stuff, but allow space for him to do it for you. You know, don't be on his back, because then it's like control. It's like, I'm expecting that. Allow him to just do it for you. I can give an example for that. I have my best friend, and every time that we were jumping back into the car with a husband, he was playing heavy metal. And she used to really dislike it. So every time we jump in, the first thing that she does, it's putting the music down. And then they play that silly game, right? When she's not looking, you put it back up, and she put it back down. And one day I said to her, how about this time that he comes and picks us up, you just do not touch the radio and watch what's going to be happening. I can guarantee you that he's going to look at you like, hold on a second, where's the usual reaction? And he's going to put it down for you by himself. And this is exactly what happened. And she was like with her elbow saying, hey, what's happening? I'm saying, you see, be patient.
Yeah.
He knows that.
Control and resistance, the idea that you just don't want to be told what to do. As if you've been
Nobody
dictated.
likes that.
Yeah.
That's why in expression of your personal truth, it's a lot about holding your own space instead of boundaries. It's not about saying, oh, I want you to do that. It's like, I'm going to tell you what it is for me.
Mm-hmm.
So another like feminine quality, it's the emotional strength.
Mm-hmm.
The emotional strength, because we know that the feminine energy is usually what brings the masculine back to their heart center. So it's really a being able as that feminine energy, right, that also men must embody. It's to be in tune with all the emotions. It's not about running away from emotions. You see, because the reality is that when we touch on a non-integrated emotion, we feel pain.
Mm-hmm.
And when we feel pain, we deny the emotion and we start intellectualizing the emotion.
Mm-hmm.
But when you intellectualize an emotion, you're literally fighting it. You know, you're rejecting it. And what it has, it's a fight to an emotion, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you intellectualize the emotion, you're fighting it. But what's really happening on your consciousness level is that you start being fragmented. So this is why some men are like, I don't understand. What's all those moods? And she's just go like crazy. She's expressing herself and she's crying. And then 5 minutes later, she's fine. I don't get it. I mean, hold that space without judgment. Because this is really what it's about. It's like you feel the emotion. You want to allow yourself to feel it. We don't allow ourselves to feel it. And then when it comes out like on an explosion. And then you get comforted to just shut up. Don't express it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So another qualities for the divine feminine, it's the embodiment of her own fullest expression.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's about really tuning into what makes you you. It's not about going and doing exactly the same as the other woman is doing. It's like what makes you uniquely you. It's not about fitting in. It's like you here with a unique DNA, a unique life purpose to feel a very unique goal. And And the last one, and very important, it's intuition-based decisions. And this is, you know, when you say, I've got a strong intuition, I've got this gut feeling, but very often we betray ourselves by intellectualizing how we feel or what's going on. So it's about really acting onto it.
I guess as you shared, many would hear, and you know, they gut feeling, but then they rationalize it. As you say, intellectualize it. They start to feel like that can't be because my good sense would tell me this.
But you're betraying yourself because at the end of the day, you know, when you look back, it's like, I knew it.
Is that gut feeling born of the experience, you know, or is it just that intuition? And is the intellectual born out of the experience? So you know, you feel this thing. Yeah, that's just not right.
Yeah.
But you, as you say, intellectualize it, you dismiss it. Are you giving credence that thing that you feel in the gut is from past experiences, or are you?
Not so much, because you can really have a very strong intuition while being in a complete new environment, new situation. The intuition is really something that you don't have to think about. It's something that comes like a flash. Right? And it's not so much in the brain. It's like, it's, you know, and we naturally do show the tummy or the heart, right? And you know, it's about, you know, once you feel that, and when you're in your mind, right, and you're feeling that intuition, and suddenly you say, no, for sure, I'm not meant to just resign or do that. Well, sit with it. You know, it's like, okay, I felt it. Let me take some time to address that.
All right.
And then you hear how it feels and how it vibrates within you.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, could I ask you, you talked about the divine masculine, the divine feminine. You shared some of the attributes. Can the man or the woman exhibit and embody traits of, the man have some of the divine feminine, the woman?
Ooh,
can we talk about after that?
To talk about that.
Stephanie Dos Santos, it is Valentine's Day. We have chocolates and cookies and brownies. and Susan is not sharing. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Cocoa Fest is back at Pedro St. James, Saturday, the 18th of February. From noon to 6 p.m., enjoy crafts, games, music, coconut-inspired food and treats, health and beauty products, and enjoy local cooks, craftsmen, artisans, and farmers through a shared love of the Cayman coconut. Admission is only $10 for adults and $5 for kids 6 to 12 in age. 6 and under get in free. So go coconuts at Cocoa Fest and enjoy one of Cayman's culture and tradition Saturday, February 18th. For more info, go to info@pedrostjames.ky.
Brought to you by Proven Bank.
Valentine's Day is around the corner. Your friendly neighborhood pharmacy, Savannah Pharmacy, is here. Valentine's Day cards, gifts, and more. Don't break the bank to show your love this Valentine's Day. Whether you're shopping early or scrambling last minute, Valentine's Day made easy at Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, just around the corner, with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays.
They say variety is the spice of life, and that's why at Subway we're introducing the new boneless hot sub. Say what? The premium sub brings new ingredients like spicy breaded boneless chicken, French's crispy fried onions, and buffalo wing sauce, bringing a zesty and flavorful experience with every bite. Add some of your favorite veggies, cheese, and ranch sauce of your choice of freshly baked bread for the ultimate boneless hot sub. For a little spice in your life, try the new boneless hot sub from Subway.
So good and tasty.
And make it a meal with a drink and chips or cookies. Subway. Eat fresh.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
For information that matters to you, the people. Hear from the government, the opposition, independents, and other experts on issues and solutions that affect you. For the record. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, tune into 89.9 and 93.9 FM for Cayman's Straight Talk Morning Show. For the record.
I invite you to join me for the record. You are invited to be a part of this interesting and informative show. Embrace the opportunity to dialogue with your legislators, policymakers, and those charged with policy implementation.
For the record.
Brought to you by Coca-Cola. Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors.
Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And thanks to Stephanie Dos Santos for being our guest. You know, the idea that we have within us sometimes, consciously and unconsciously, assign labels to things that we don't want to, or that there are things that we probably embody and or internalize, and sometimes things that we exhibit and friends would accept it. And I wonder, as we go into the break, when I ask the question, I wonder sometimes when we see a man, right, whom we know is the father of the children that he's with, or he's babysitting, right? And if he is a doting, loving father, we compliment him and we make all sorts of fuss. But the mother, she's, women are nurturers and the like. So in saying that, I want to ask, can the male, and I only know two terms, male and female, so can the male, exhibit and embody the divine feminine, and can the female do the same for the divine masculine with those attributes? I'm willing to learn.
This is why we get on so well together, because like the earth has this duality, this contrast within ourselves. It's exactly the same. So of course, and this is when I say about energy, masculine energy or feminine energy, it has nothing to do with gender, right? But of course, this is why when you see healthy couples, it's usually going to be a woman that is going to be aware of herself, like owning emotions, owning a uniqueness, and having a man being able to, even if he does not understand, holding that space. So for men, when they're dealing with a woman that feels a bit emotional, very often what we see, it's like, okay, I'm going out, I come back when you calm down. But there's so much for a man to be integrated in regards to his own consciousness, to hold that space. So yes, it is challenging because it's uncomfortable. You see, but if you dare staying, even for the 5 or 10 minutes that's going on, you will see that that emotion does not last. And it's been brought up at the surface. So now it's not unconscious, it's conscious now. So it's like, what are we doing with this? But if you have the other person, the guy that just goes away, then there's no resolution to that stressful emotion. And then it's like back down, and eventually with time, it comes back with resentment. So yeah, a man that is embodying his masculine energy and feminine energy is definitely a man that has that protective energy with him, the awareness of his physical strength, and yes, he's going to be a man that will own his emotions. So instead of running away when he's feeling frustrated, it's like, hold on a second, what the heck is going on here? Instead of taking it on to something.
Confronting it and deal with it. Yeah. Okay. But then perhaps it's, maybe a step society's making that direction, but many times we hear with the man, real men don't cry, real men are not touching it, real men this.
Oh, we see how well it's working, right?
Yeah. And then when there is a man that is doing that, what we say, he's in touch with his feminine side, it's usually said in a way that isn't complimentary.
Yeah, but since when a woman, it's something that is inferior or negative? You see?
You see, exactly.
Voilà.
Yeah.
It's like there's some expression, you're such a beep,
yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Since when, that attribute is something weak? It's not.
Exactly.
So it's also about becoming more conscious of the words we speak, and do we actually really understand what it means? Because I can guarantee you that most men that say, he's in touch with his feminine side, it's like, suddenly I feel superior to him because look at him.
Yeah.
He's a bit weaker because he's in We have to stop that.
And I think we do ourselves a disservice, probably in trying to, I think, to a few sayings, when you say before, you hit like a girl, as if it's a bad thing, right? Why are we so willing to downplay, let's say, the feminine, or the emotional, the thing that should ground us and connect us? And I'm sure I do it, there's a conflict.
We get programmed for that. We don't realize. It's things we watch. It's what we feed our brain with. We don't really realize where our behavior stems from. But you don't know, but the reality is that your brain is a blank software from 0 to 7. But you can't tell a kid, here's all those books, so you will know how to behave in society. It doesn't need that, a child. What he's going to do, it's encode and see everything that is around him. And this is the program that is going to go about in life.
Is that reprogrammable?
Absolutely. So this part of programming, it's because the brain, from 0 to 7, vibrates on the theta frequency. This is why, you can see two kids pretending to have hot chocolate and saying, that was delicious, right? They're really feeling it when they're playing with it. So the theta frequency is the imagination, but it's also the hypnosis frequency. So the part of the brain that responds to that knows only symbols. So there's few techniques that you can do to reprogram yourself. One that is pretty efficient is to put binaural beats with headphones while you sleep, because your body, your brain will naturally tune into that theta frequency just before you fall asleep, and as you waking up as well. That's why it's so important to not jump on phones. And if you can just have the meditation ready, just put it on in the morning. Get in tune with your body sensation instead of jumping out with all the sensation from the day before.
Yeah. It's probably, and I'm mindful because I want people to hear, and I don't want to offend, malign, or somehow, But there are many people that their practice for the day, either while they're still in bed or as they get up, they pray, they meditate. There is this sense of quietness. And I know a few who are of the Christian religion, a few who are other religions, and they've all shared. If they don't do that first thing, right? Now, we would say religiously, but this is part of their conditioning, their planning, their program, very deliberately, conscious. This is what they do, this is how they do it. That for them, if they don't do that, their day just goes awry. It's just completely...
Okay. So is it because there's an unconscious fear of if I don't do it, then I'll be punished? Because it's really meditating or praying. You can get the same benefits.
Yeah, I asked that of two individuals. Again, it's not intended to be scientific, but I was conscious of this. So in our discussion today, I asked, and both of them took time, gave me some examples of when they didn't do it. One, there was this genuine emergency, at least it seems at the time. You awaken out of your bed, you rush, you attend to it. I thought, well, maybe it was that thing that just threw the whole day out of, the kilter, as were. The same person said on another occasion, similar situation, but instead of just rushing, getting dressed and heading out and dealing with it quietly, not to the same extent. And they did, on that occasion, the thing was worse than what it was in the prior. Now is it preparation and planning beforehand, just in case, conscious otherwise. So I was just trying to ask what it is. I don't think, from the little feedback that I got, that it was this expectation. If they didn't do it, as you shared, this would be the consequence. I think it's because they're now ordering their day in their minds because they've quieted their minds. Yeah. They've had this, time to, what?
It's
take
the
a breath.
intention. Yeah, it's like I wanna tune in. I wanna tune in, just calm and just really see how I feel, and start the day feeling peace within, and not starting the day with already thinking of all the things that I have to do today or what happened yesterday. This is why doing a prayer or meditation in the morning can change the whole day.
Yeah. What I also do ask, others who have, it's my word, a routine. So they get up to do certain things, and just a small number. For them, that morning routine is exercise. And in the absence of exercise, then they don't feel their days as productive or as positive and the like. And I've been kind of trying to wonder what it's like. So all of them shared, if it's a really horrible day out, the weather is just bad, they just can't make it, or the alarm didn't go off, something happens and they didn't get, then they feel off. But for them, that's a physical thing because they're morning exercise, they get
all those hormones flowing through the body.
So it's, I was thinking about that, and I'm wondering to what extent we are willing to be conscious of how we start our day and how we end our day. The physicians are sharing with us, to put the devices down.
Well, yeah, but you see, at the end of the day, you can offer people 100,000 things that they can do. You're not going to start because someone is telling you, oh, you should try that. You're going to start because eventually you're going to be so sick of having the same outcomes. And the reality is, like, we look outside for things. It's like, oh, I'm going to try this, or I'm going to try that with that person. That inner peace is not going to be found by you gaining more stuff from the outside. Yeah. You're not going to find internal peace because you get that car. You're not going to find internal peace because you get this.
So for some, as you said, that would probably think of the word that came to mind with me as well. They want to fill a void. There's something in them that is missing that they're trying to fill with something.
Okay, so that void, it's your fragmented consciousness. So it's about going through life and gathering back those aspects of our consciousness that we have rejected. Because, when we're kids, like what we need the most is to be approved by our parents. So when we get disapproved, when we get rejected, what we're going to do automatically we are thinking about it is that we're going to push that aspect of us that got rejected away. And we're going to put forward whatever is going to bring us alignment with that parent or the caregiver. So you can see how, with life, we end up so fragmented because as kids, we got programmed to leave some aspect of ourselves aside. But the challenges that we encounter in life, and I know it's hard to hear sometimes, right? But it's there to promote our personal expansion.
With growth experiences. All right, let's pause quickly. The phone lines are open. We're going to tell you 949-837, 949-6990, or the toll-free line if you want. If you call, I got a question for you. If you call, you can ask, and maybe we have an answer for you as well. All right, stay tuned for Talk Today.
Valentine's Day is around the corner. Your friendly neighborhood pharmacy, Savannah Pharmacy, is here. Valentine's Day cards, gifts, and more. Don't break the bank to show your love this Valentine's Day. Whether you're shopping early or scrambling last minute, Valentine's Day made easy at Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, just around the corner, with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays.
Grand Cayman's biggest one-day family fun day is back! The 54th Annual Agricultural Show at the Stacey Watler Agricultural Pavilion in Lower Valley. Ash Wednesday, February 22nd. Raffle tickets are on sale now, and for only $25, you can win $20,000 and so many other prizes. Raffle tickets include general admission to the show. For more information, visit them on Facebook or CaymanAgriculture.com.
Let me tell you something. I've been fishing our island since I was a boy, and it's getting harder and harder to get a good catch. Maybe it's because there are so many more people in Cayman than ever before. Maybe it's because of how the climate is changing. I don't know about that, but I do know that I want to be able to keep fishing and teach my children to fish one day as well. So it makes sense to me that we have certain areas and certain times of the year to fish for certain things. It feels unfair not to be allowed to fish where my dad taught me to fish, but I know that being patient now means we can keep fishing for many more generations. We're all in this together, right?
For more info, download the Cayman DOE app or visit doe.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us, and thanks to Stephanie Dos Santos for being with us.
Welcome, thank you.
As I was looking at, today and people and the like, and either the celebration of love, the thing that we think embodies love, the demonstration of love, and not in any way being a linguist or the like, but looking at the word and its different sort of connotations in English. One word, and then if you look at other language, like French. But thank you. Yeah, it's interesting how we can see it in other languages. Greek is probably one of the better ones, but in French, is love, all love the same love, one love, or is it,
No, you will make nuances to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I to a friend, I was, I guess it depends.
It depends, right?
Yeah.
You look at a parent embracing a child. Again, depending on the age of that child, so a newborn or a toddler, the way the parent would hold that child and cuddle, you'll see and you'll hear. Perhaps it's a teen where you still want to embrace, but there's a little bit, hey, no, that's so close, don't hug me so tightly. To when perhaps the child is now, mid-20s, 30s, 40s, they embrace sometimes, or the child is now 60, they embrace, right? That's the same parent-child over, 4 or 5 decades of sharing, showing love, feeling love, right? That with siblings or with good friends, some of us fortunately have friends almost as long as we've been alive, thankfully. And we've had all sorts of, how would you say, interactions in our relations. Those two guys who meet in primary school and,
grow up like brothers.
We know that nothing separates them. It's interesting how love sort of binds us. Love never fails, it says, huh?
Absolutely.
What do you, if it's okay, and to our listeners, and this was the question I wanted to ask, 949-8037, 949-6990, and toll free at 1-800-534-8255. I wonder what is that thing that we think, or to us anyway, demonstrates, embodies, love. What is that thing? For some of us, we've talked about love languages and we know how we feel and show love. And for others, we're probably still searching for it. Not necessarily physically, but we're wondering, how do I feel love? How do I love? How do I show love? For you, do you know what 1 or 10 things that make you feel love, or you show love? How you show love?
I feel love and loved when there's a strong connection.
Okay.
It's about when there's a strong connection, and what I mean by that is that I can see that you have my best interest at heart, and vice versa.
Yeah. So that connection.
It's really tuning in. What makes you you?
Yeah.
What is it that he likes?
Yeah.
And it's at a small scale, right? It's like, okay, I know Sterling can't stand this, but he absolutely loved that. He's coming to dinner.
So doing that thing sometimes to build that
Well, you will feel loved, right?
Yeah.
If you have your friend preparing your favorite dish that you haven't had in ages, and
you appreciate then that they're conscious, they did something for you.
you said the word
Conscious. Yeah.
and the presence.
Yeah.
It's not I'm going to prepare something to try to impress or whatever. It's like, what is he going to connect with the most?
Yeah.
What is it making him feel like appreciated and that I really value him?
And saying and asking that, and then listening to the answer, I keep hearing, and we're talking about love, but I think more of us need to understand that we need to love ourselves, and then we should have that love for each other, right? For our partners, or siblings, or children. We hear quality time. Are we spending that with others, with our children? But are we spending it with ourselves?
We are very conditional with ourselves.
Okay.
From the very moment that we feel uncomfortable or challenged or agitated and we want to feel differently than how we feel, we're running away from that discomfort emotion. So we already showing that we're okay to be with ourselves only when we feel good. And this is we demonstrating a very conditional relationship we have.
I want to try to say something. I want you to guide me in it. And those listening, if it's go right, call me and guide me. I'll limit it to male, female, because I'm an older guy. I don't always understand all these things that are happening around us. Like I say, I know male, female. That's about it. Right? So you take two people, but because it's easier if it's two male friends and they bond and they do all the things because they've been together for 40, 50 years, or two female good friends, we can understand that. So, but two male and female, they interact, they spend time together. I wonder to what extent our society will see that and can't see that relationship. Now, I don't want to use the word platonic because I think we kind of misunderstand that. But see that relationship is a friendship, it's a good thing, it's nothing else other than, healthy, emotional, I don't even want to say physical interaction because people misunderstand, but they do stuff, they get along, they get each other, they connect. But that's it.
Yeah.
And people, I don't think, understand that.
Yeah, but then you worry more about what other people will think. And I do understand that, to some degree, you do want to care about what other people think. I get that. But when it's touching your happiness and that bubble that you have with that friend, and I get that. My best friend, Doug, from Canada, right? When we were going out to lunch, when I met him 2 years ago, he's like, Steph, are you sure you want to be seen with me? And I say, and I didn't understand at first. And I said, what do you say? He's like, well, it's a small island. And I said, Doug, you're my good friend.
Yeah.
And if people want to think that I'm sleeping with all the guys and the girls that I have meetings with, so be it. I cannot control what people think. But I know what I have when I'm with that friend, male or female, whatever other people want to make it up. If it's affecting me, then I probably should, like start looking. It's like, okay, why am I doubting myself? Why do I feel like how people think about that relationship is more important than what I know about what that relationship is all about?
I polled a couple of people to ask that, and the consensus that I got was, this whole idea that when people, for those who are watching us, we should invite him into the studio. Yeah, I think nobody should come in for Valentine's Day. And he's wearing the color.
Yeah,
hey.
It's the theme,
all right,
right?
So Susan, you have that theme music. You can play something good, as Nobi comes into the studio. Perfect time to talk about. You don't want to do that? You're too late, bro. This is live radio. So if you join us on YouTube, Susan has a song playing in the background, like the Chariots of Fire, as he enters the arena. Nobi, good afternoon. Please meet Stephanie. Stephanie, meet Nobi. Nobi, there's Susan. Susan, this is the guy from East End.
We're in trouble now.
Okay, pull up your mic. Which mic we giving you? What number is that mic? No? All right. We're going to take the news break in a bit, but...
I didn't mean to disturb you.
No, you're not disturbing me, man. Hey, this is sharing the love, okay? Did you come bring in chocolate? So we can share with you then.
Yeah,
all right, good afternoon to you, man.
Good afternoon. I can't hear nothing.
Which mic we giving you, Susan? He wants all two.
One. This one is out.
No, that one's good? All right.
This one is out?
4? No, 4. All right, yeah. So your headphone, put this one down. All right. Just take that mic in your left hand. Oh, he going to take another one. We'll find a mic for you, man. How are you?
I'm okay, man.
You okay? That's good, yeah. I don't know.
Is it what?
It's working, yeah.
Okay.
And Susan like, yeah, you too. All right. I'm going to try something here. Nobody, I just asked Stephanie as you were walking across. Love. What is that thing that you think you demonstrate love? Or, more answer after the break. What you see as love, how you show love, or what makes you feel love. You want to answer that now, or you want to go into the break and give it some thought?
Well, yeah, go into the break.
Yeah.
I didn't expect this.
He got call a friend. Pick a phone, my friend. All right. Half an hour when we come back. Nobody can exit as he entered if he wants. When we come back, it's going to be more discussion. On the right is Stephanie. On the other right is Nobi. In the middle is Susan. At the end, I don't know what it's going to be.
Susan cut me off. No connection.
Ready, Miss Sue? All right. Join us right after the news.
Follow Radio K-Man on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio K-Man.
Today's biggest news.
Radio K-Man, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio K-Man's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Health Services Authority.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins. K-Man First Insurance Company today announced the appointment of Mr. Abraham Thoppel to the company's board of directors effective January 17, 2023. Mr. Thoppel will serve as the chair of the Corporate Governance Committee and as a member of the Audit Committee. In international news, an on-demand, non-hormonal male contraceptive pill may be a real possibility, say scientists who have found a cell pathway, or switch, that stops sperm from being able to swim. Tests in mice suggest it keeps sperm stunned for at least a few hours, long enough to stop them reaching the egg. The idea is users could pop a pill an hour before sex and keep an eye on the clock for when it wears off. Scientists say that this is one of the advantages of the approach they are exploring. It will not knock out testosterone and cause any male hormone deficiency side effects. The sensors from a suspected Chinese spy balloon shot down over the U.S. earlier this month have been removed from the Atlantic Ocean, the U.S. says. Search crews found significant debris from the site, including all of the priority sensor and electronic pieces identified. The FBI is examining the items which the U.S. said were used to spy on sensitive military sites. The U.S. has shot down 3 more objects since the first on February 4th. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins. For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio K-Man on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio K-Man app or log on to our website, radiokman.gov.ky.
The Headline News are brought to you by Health Services Authority.
HSA's cardiology clinic is now located at Smith Road Medical Center. Our cardiology team provides expert care and treatment for heart conditions such as coronary artery disease, heart failure, arrhythmias, hypertension, congenital heart diseases, among others. The new location offers state-of-the-art cardiac diagnostic testing, including echocardiograms, ECGs, and stress tests. To contact, call 949-8600. At HSA, your heart matters to us.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Born in Watering Place, Cayman-Brac, on the 8th day of July, 1936, Captain Fred Elman Scott was the fifth child born to Nalio and Vera Scott. Not only did Captain Scott work the seas for over 52 years, but he was mathematically inclined. In the early 70s, Captain Scott received his first calculator, eventually moving on to computers. After retiring from sea, Captain Scott used his knowledge of navigation, his love for mathematics, and general knowledge to write various computer programs that would impact the lives of the people of the Cayman Islands, such as payroll calculation and a program that could tell the depths at any point of the Georgetown Harbor, which would allow him to give any ship in port the coordinates to drop anchor. However, his pride and joy was his weather program that could detect when a storm formed anywhere in the world and was able to track and forecast its path. To create this program, he first drew the world map by using actual coordinates from the various coastlines around the world, including the most minute coves. This information would be transmitted by his shipping mates from around the world, making him the local reliable source on storm predictions.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And this is how we not only love, admire, respect, value, and appreciate all those who are with us. In the studio with Stephanie Dos Santos is Shane Nobi Edwards, and on Valentine's Day, we're looking at the heart and we're sharing the love. I really appreciate, Nobi, you taking a few minutes, as you conduct your business. And we want to ask you, as you pop into the studio, love. Some of us show our love in different ways, some of us feel love in different ways. I imagine you show love through your meals you prepare, but I'll just ask you, how do you feel love? How do you show love?
Boy,
how is love shown to you?
That's a difficult one because, maybe it's, it depends on how your experiences in life has been with seeing your family actually pass love on. And love could be in the form of working hard to see that you get a better life. And love could be in the form of just doing everything to see that you're happy or you're enjoying life.
So is love then an act? Something that people do. It's an action.
Yeah.
It's demonstrated through. Stephanie, what do you think? An action demonstrates love.
Well, I think it's the presence.
It's
when it's the presence, the intention, and feeling a deep sense of connection, and it can start with self as well. When we talk about self-love, it will look like honoring how you feel all the time instead of rejecting some emotions that you feel. This will start this is self-love. It's not running away from discomfort.
Let me
see, she's on point. The ladies always know this stuff, guys.
Yeah, we're learning.
That's not true.
Okay, how about if I add this word to the equation? Wanted. Feeling wanted.
No, I don't necessarily think that is love.
No?
I think if we go back to what she just said, you should, self-love is a big part of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're feeling wanted, that means you probably don't, you don't, sorry, like if someone's thinking like they need, sorry, I might have get it wrong, need someone to show them affection, basically it's really, about you trying to get to that realization that you love yourself, you actually love who you are, and that'll transcend into a lot of things.
I think it depends on where the desire stems from. Because you can, if I'm in love with someone and it makes me feel desired, I'm going to love it and I'm going to feel loved and connected.
Okay.
So if you can have a strong desire, but if it stems from, serving your own interest or whatever, you will tend to you can choose then, is it something that I want to engage with or not?
See, there's now a good topic for me. Why the lady knows everything.
It's great.
But it's good point. You got a good point.
But this is where I think many times we don't appreciate that we should look in the mirror, be introspective, and to reflect, and to ask, what is it that we want? What is it that we're conveying? And are we confident and courageous enough to ask for it, to pursue it?
And to speak, his truth, and please don't feel bad. It's beautiful. This is by talking all together that we get to think better.
That's true.
There's no shame or feeling like, oh, she's superior, I feel inferior, or there's no need for that. You can teach me so many things, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's good at fishing as well. Cocaine.
Great.
But and I say that partly in jest because there's no communication, right? We don't express ourselves. We don't make time to engage, interact. And I think increasingly we're seeing jokes being made. Someone said, whether it's true or not, a particular restaurant, some part of the world said, hey, we don't have Wi-Fi. Pretend it's 1980 and talk to each other, right? Another restaurant partner says, here is a basket. If you agree to put your phones here while you have a meal, we'll give you 20% off. Right? We're going to incentivize you because we're not talking with each other anymore. We're not learning how to show love, and when we do, perhaps we're misunderstanding or miscommunicating it. Well, of course I love you, my dear. Here's and we give them some material thing. The story goes of the child who only wanted the parents' time.
This is good, that restaurant thing.
Yeah.
Like the owner, when you look at it, the owner must feel like sick of seeing people disconnected.
Yep.
You have to be a conscious owner to say, you know what, this is what I want to see happening in my restaurant. And I think to people that own restaurant out there, please do that.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, people are going to start to see, oh, I'm doing it, so I get a discount, or I get that. But then when they're going to leave, they're going to feel that there was a so much stronger sense of connection, not only with people around me, but also with the food. And then eventually they can choose to nurture that or not, on their day-to-day basis, saying like, you know what, while we're at the dinner table, your phone's on the drawer or in the rooms.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about that is today is a perfect day for people to start that.
Yeah.
Or even if the restaurants don't have it in place, people could start it, because I think it's a very good thing to have that. Even myself, sometimes I go to dinner, I'm connected, and we should just stop and just take that time to connect, because what I find at most restaurants, I've been to places like Tuka, the entire staff tries to get you, connected in a different way in terms of their service and all in their communication. And you miss on that if you're on your phone.
Yeah.
Right? So, and both of you could also, have conversation, but it's the whole connectivity that, we're missing.
But isn't it interesting, right? We tell parents, have a meal with your family. Right? Try to find a day and put that in your calendar. Yeah, whether it's Sunday lunch or Saturday night pizza, you spend that time. But we also tell them, can you as a parent and as a child, put your devices aside for an hour, half an hour. We consciously understand that. We do that within the parental family dynamic. But why not about us as friends, right? Not just spouse out on an evening out, whatever they call it, but just you out as adults. Go in and have a conversation, talk, show love,
but
be
with
present.
your friends, you can even set the tone before.
Yeah.
You know, if you know that last time you went out to dinner, it was your friend spent like 3/4 of the time on the phone, or even 10%, and you didn't like it, have a chat. It's like, you know, if we go out to dinner, do one thing and leave the phones in the car, or switch the phones off. I just really want to try something new with you. You know, and connect differently. If we want a different outcome in regards to connection and feel more fulfilled within ourselves, we have to start displaying different type of behaviors, by behaviors that goes in the direction of what we want to see.
Right. Today's Tuesday, right? So part of our programming at 1:30 with the Health Services Authority, we talk different topics. Today we're going to be talking with the cardiologist, you know, the heart and love, and we'll talk about it. But I was just, you know, in preparing that discussion and mailing it to this one, we always see the heart as embodying love, you know, heart-shaped and all these things. But I wonder to what extent, if we feel love, whatever the biology is, I wonder how that affects our physical health. It does it for our mental state, our emotions and like. But I wonder if you feel that warmth. So back to the child, feeling nurtured in love. The child probably grows and happens, laugh and healthy to other things. So what do you think? The physical heart being nurtured and loved and, you know, less stress and all that.
Well, your physical body, it's your soul manifesting itself physically. So we have to see ourselves like as a whole ecosystem, and each part of your body has its own consciousness. So if you have a heart issue, it's definitely about understanding, okay, what are my love beliefs? Questioning even the unconscious one. Well, you don't know your unconscious belief around love. Just have a look at your experiences in regards to love. You will have a pretty good idea of what your programming was. I grew up with a heart condition. I know that doing that inner work for more than a decade, it's healing it. We do have the body can get sick itself. Therefore, the body has the power to heal itself too. If you dive into epigenetics, there's genetics and epigenetics. Epigenetics is the control above the gene. So, and one of the primary principles of quantum physics, like I told you before, is that we understand that consciousness creates our life experiences. So, therefore, what this says is that your family ancestry is only responsible to 1% of the disease that you have. Isn't it mind-blowing? Most people think like, oh, I've got a heart condition or a heart attack in my family, therefore I'm likely to die of a heart attack. We now know that if it's what you believe, this is what you're going to create. You know, but it's about becoming aware of what you're programming, because you don't know what you got taught when you were 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. That's like what we said before. You don't get given a book to say, this is how you behave in society, this is how you behave with animals, with women, and with men. No, you're just a product of your environment, literally. Again, the brain is on the theta frequency. You observe everything that you see, the behaviors of your own parents, everything that is around you, and then you operate in life with this. So if you think, like, I work so hard, so hard, and it's for very little and everything. It's probably because you're trying to go against your programming there. You know, it should not be that hard. So that's why it's about, okay,
she's on point with my new outlook on life, to be honest. Right? Because, you know, a lot of us get caught in work situations where everything is, we're really stressed and we're not going anywhere. And if we just relax, and it probably means that I need to get out the office as an accountant and ride a bicycle.
but it's true, right? Because in saying, like, as he shared with us, then others have consciously, as part of their resolve, you know, New Year's come in, and you know, we all decide, let's eat healthy, let's exercise, let's sleep, let's do these things. But can you consciously say to your mind, listen, work stresses me, I have the deadlines, the job is very taxing and demanding. How do I respond to that? So can you consciously maybe look at your body, see how you tense up, when you're getting something happening. And do you think then, Stephanie, if people can consciously respond to that and maybe do things to take away the stress?
Well, yes, I think, saying we don't have time, it's an excuse, because in reality, we always have time for what we really want. Okay? So it's taking the time to say, okay, I've been procrastinating. Now I know I probably have to rush or whatever, but if on that example that you just gave, it's understanding that if I actually step outside 5 minutes to just quickly breathe and touch base and calm myself down so I can tune in and see how it vibrates and how much tension I have and slow my breathing, so therefore afterwards I'll be actually even more productive. But if you think you have to burn yourself off, to actually get the stuff done, I mean, it's unnecessary suffering that you're putting onto yourself.
Yeah. If I can ask, your new approach, and I liken it to a friend who's doing something similar to you. How do I know what deadlines can do? I know what the stress you feel because of the demands of the clients and colleagues and the like. So consciously, this is what happens. You feel all tensed up. What can I do not to? You have the conscious to work on it. For you, with that approach, working for you?
Well, sometimes I'm still get a little stressed because you want to meet your deadlines. But I think the key is that you're doing something that you like to do rather than something you don't want to do, because I think that puts more stress on you. And like, I think what I'm getting from what she's saying is that if you're stressed in a certain situation, a certain job, then you have to think whether that job is the best direction for you. You probably want to go another direction. It might just be some stress too, but the reality is, if you like something, it really is less stress than if you don't like something, you keep doing it. And that's I think it's the same way when you say you're in love with somebody and you're trying to love and love and love, and it's not working, right? You probably need to say check out what you're doing and probably find another direction, because
what brings you joy.
What brings you joy?
That's again, what brings you joy is it's your emotions that's going to guide you for that.
Yeah.
Right, so it's about tuning in, stopping intellectualizing emotions.
Listen to the.
She's good, man.
Well, that's why I like you. That's why I've invited her to be in the studio, because Susan has to prove my guess.
I came by accident last minute.
There's no such things as.
Oh, right. You're right. There's no such thing as accidents. You're right. There are no ordinary moments.
Yeah.
You read that book yet?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. Okay. There's I forgot his name, but it's a really good book.
Right. You send me the copy.
No, seriously. I have it online on my.
But you see, like what you said, there's two words that came back. It's stress and consciousness. Like most doctors, I don't know what's the proportion here in Cayman, but more than 90% of visits to the doctor are connected to stress. And stress is nothing more than a consciousness issue.
Yeah.
So consciousness is everything that connects with your life experiences.
Yeah.
You are really powerful creator, genuinely.
And let me share it with you. I hope it's okay, and I think the rest of whoever's listening in might want to check these books out, because it changed a little bit of my perspective on life. And the first one it's by Dan Millman. It's called The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. And I don't remember, one of my friends gave me that book, and I read it. And he also, I have actually added several other books, and another one is No Ordinary Moments. I think that's the name of the book, right? I found the Way of the Peaceful Warrior a really good book, and it's online too as well.
I'll check it out.
And it's almost the same of what you were talking about. But what the premise of the book was that he was a guy that was jealous and all caught up and stressed, and he met this like an ancient warrior at a gas station who actually started to make him think differently about his life and about being caught up in all of this. and
broadening perspective, right?
Exactly. You want to check it out. It's
I
really
will.
good
I
book.
will. Yeah.
And I think it's something that you would probably like, because you seem to be on
I
that
really
one.
appreciate.
Yeah. I don't know if I could have shared it with my friend over here at one point, but I think
you can. No, if it's a hardback.
Yeah, someone shared it with me, and I thought it was a real good book.
While we're sharing books, there's also one that I found absolutely amazing, and that every individual, no exception, will be able to connect with and start and have the opportunity to bring that self-awareness, right? Because we don't know what we don't not aware of. It's called The 5 Wounds, from Lise Bourbeau, Lise, and Bourbeau, Bourbeaux, Lise Bourbeau, The 5 Wounds, because it's telling you, depending on your body type, the unconscious wound that you're carrying and the mask that you're putting in society. So, for example, I'm carrying the wound of rejection because that's why my body is so lean. I've got barely any fat on it, and I don't put on weight. And I'm carrying that wound, therefore I'm having the mask of withdrawal. So the mask of withdrawal in a day-to-day basis is that as soon as on an emotional aspect I'm going to get a bit too close to someone, I'm going to withdraw. It can look like displaying self-sabotage behavior, and I will feel like I'm going against myself, right, on some situations. But once you become aware that, okay, that's my wound, I'm aware that I want to withdraw or display those behaviors because I'm scared of being hurt. If I keep going there, the awareness allows you to really take those steps that's going to allow you to live a more fulfilling life. And like your body type is the same. It says a lot. Yours, mine, everyone. And if we start, everyone was to read that book, we can understand way more why some people behave the way they do. And we can come from a place of compassion by understanding that this is not the essence of who they truly are. They are just unaware of it yet.
Interesting, no?
So I want to get in tune with my body type. Right? Rejecting all things good. No.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking maybe my body type was a mini with a 350 Chevy.
No, I mean, I've actually thought of myself, because again, by me doing tours and the number of tours that I do and in the hot sun and all that, sometimes I just wonder, like, how can I do it? But it seems like my body type is one of those types that can actually endure that kind of outside environment, and it's just natural to me. Sometimes I get a little worn down, but I can go, day in day out, just doing this, which I've been doing for years. It seems like you would say physically, some people say they're in shape, but to be honest, you can be in shape, but then the sun can wear you down. All these other elements out there can wear you down really bad. But I'm not in the kind of shape you would say, like the physique, but I have something that keeps me going. Yeah. There's something there. So I need to I'm going to check that out, see what my wounds are.
That book, it's going to give you like some really deep insight of what's going on your unconscious mind.
Yeah, okay. Well, I appreciate you setting everything. Before we end the segment, any closing thoughts you want to share? And then you can...
I thought that, it's really, Stephanie, this is a great conversation. And,
thank you.
Much stuff that, listening to ladies at times really helps. And she's given us so much input right there about us just communicating more and what have you. I just want to put this in. I don't know if you went to Cuba.
I haven't yet.
Okay, well, many years ago, a couple of years ago, Cuba didn't have a lot of cell phones. If you're talking about cell phones, it was hard. It was difficult for you to get connectivity. So back then, Cuba has always been a country that they get together, and there's a lot of family unions. And I think it's because they didn't have that communication. I don't know what's happening now.
Now it's different.
Right? But I'm just saying that maybe the phones have really affected.
Well, we have to watch this year. We have to watch. Watch out for phones, because we say AI, artificial intelligence, but it's about to gain a full awareness. And this is how we have to be extra careful.
Yeah.
My friend says artificial intelligence will only highlight the natural stupidity.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that we end up finding stronger connection through phones. I would recommend everyone to watch the movie Her with Joaquin Phoenix. I think it's Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson. It's about AI, and he falls in love with a computer-generated voice.
Wow.
And it's, I mean, I will recommend to everyone to watch it. This is the world we're heading towards, so be conscious, be aware of how you use your technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Make it a movie night.
But anyway, I hope, I wish everybody the best for Valentine's Day.
So those books you got are only e-books?
No, well, I
hard copies?
I had one hard copy, but I think I shared it with somebody.
So you get it back and then
but I can't remember who I gave it to.
All right, whoever got Nobi's book, the way before you pick it back so you can cleanse it. Bro, okay. I'll see you around, all right?
Okay.
All right, so Miss Stephanie,
nice
thank you very much. Any closing thoughts for you that you want to share with us? He's back to work now.
Okay.
we let him enter, we let him exit. And then as we go to the break and change for our next guest, I want to say special thanks, making a little bit of your time with us. And as Nobi shared, the idea that we can love and be love, and love can embody and be, sort of epitomized in different ways. It's just about loving yourself and being true to you.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, right?
Thank you very much.
All right. We're going to pause, and when we come back, we focus on the heart, but this time we got Dr. Kriegel and her entourage will join us, Congenital Heart, as we have a continued partnership with the Health Services Authority. Please stay tuned.
When you're craving something big, something tasty that gives you that lip-smacking satisfaction, something that hits the spot, there is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
It's pretty tasty.
Filling and full of flavor. Try our new sweet onion steak teriyaki with a twist. Or the classic chicken teriyaki. Top it with green pepper, onions, cheese, and that sweet onion teriyaki sauce, all piled on your favorite artisanal bread. Satisfy that craving with a footlong from Subway.
Fresh, delicious, tasty, meaty.
Let's make it a meal with a drink, chips, and cookies. There is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
Valentine's Day is around the corner. Your friendly neighborhood pharmacy, Savannah Pharmacy, is here. Valentine's Day cards, gifts, and more. Don't break the bank to show your love this Valentine's Day. Whether you're shopping early or scrambling last minute, Valentine's Day made easy at Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, just around the corner, with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays.
The Ministry of Planning, Agriculture, Housing and Infrastructure presents Garth Guy. A Garth Brooks and Shania Twain tribute show live from Las Vegas on Friday, February 17th at the Agriculture Fairgrounds for a free show. Gates open at 6 p.m. with DJ Flex, Impulse Band, J.R. Douglas, and Dexter Bodden. Food and drink available on site and a chance to win Cayman Airways tickets. Enjoy a night of Garth Brooks and Shania Twain hits at the Agriculture Fairgrounds. Friday, February 17th. Gates open at 6 p.m. and entry is free. Brought to you by the Ministry of Planning, Agriculture, Housing and Infrastructure, Cayman Airways, Cayman Distributors, Coca-Cola, and Radio Cayman.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
This is how we wake you up in the morning.
Praise time on Radio Cayman.
Are you ready? Here we go. Set. I feel like running, skipping,
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
I'm coming in hot.
Coming in hot for the Red Dot Sale, only at Reflections. Clearance sale on men's and women's shoes. Nike, Reebok, Adidas, Puma, Dockers, and more. Limited styles available. Get yours before they're gone. Spot the Red Dot on any tagged item and receive up to 50% off. Ladies, save up to 50% off on clothing. Just in time to find your perfect Valentine's outfit or Valentine's gift with lingerie and personal massages at 10% off. Save on dresses, blouses, pants, and find even greater savings in our clearance baskets. Men, spot the Red Dot on any tagged item and receive up to 50% off on brands like US Polo, Dockers, and 20% off on all gym apparel. Levi jeans starting at $34. There is something for everyone. Reflections Clothing Store located on Cheddar Road beside the mango tree across from Kirk Napa. Open Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Friday and Saturday, 9 to 9 p.m.
Add another 10% off at the Red Dot sale this week only at Reflections. Sale ends Saturday, February 18th.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. And as we hope you enjoyed the last segment with a special appearance with Novi, Jordan, Stephanie, and myself. And it's a pleasure now to be able to have this continued partnership with the Health Services Authority to welcome the cardiologist Dr. Kriegel, NHSA, and our colleague in the cardiology clinic, Dr. Yulette. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I have to remember to hyphenate, Doctor.
That's
okay.
I'll
get there. I will. I promise. At some point. I still think. But thank you both, and as we bring Mum and Son into the discussion in a minute. But first, just a good afternoon. It's quite fitting that today, being in my view, Happy Chocolate Day. It's all about the chocolate. As we celebrate Valentine's and we see love and we see how the heart is. You can't love without the heart. And you can't have a heart without love. Or can you? Good afternoon, Dr. Kriegel. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us again. We've been a few times so far. We always talk about the adults and more acquired heart disease. Today we'll be talking more about the congenital heart disease.
Okay. Well, what is, we've heard it a lot, and as you shared, and either I ask you respectfully, Dr. Kriegel, either pull that microphone closer or you pull your chair closer, whichever is more comfortable for you. Sometime. All right. What is congenital, sort of heart defect? And then we hear something about, a child was born with a hole in the heart. Is that one and the same? But what is congenital?
Congenital, by definition, means it is heart defect which you're born with. So it's present at birth. Usually it is morphological abnormality of the heart or cardiovascular system, but sometimes in rare condition can be abnormality in electrical function of the heart. Not necessarily at birth you may have symptoms of the heart disease. Sometimes the symptoms can be detected or present much later in your life, in childhood, or even in adults. So when we walk, when we see patient and other people, we have this awareness between us is somebody with congenital heart disease. Not necessarily they look bad or they look very sick, but between us they are in our community. And this week from 7 to 14 of February is the week of awareness of congenital heart defect, which we are very happy to talk a little bit.
And I appreciate that, because I'm thinking, as adults, but as parents in particular, the child is born, mom and babe looks good, we count the fingers and toes, everything looks to be where it's supposed to be, the child is, God forbid, other than something very obvious that is, very evident then and there, how do we know? Are there particular signs and symptoms? Are there things that would manifest itself sufficiently early enough to us to positively do something about it?
There's many ways of detecting congenital heart disease because everybody in very early stage of the life, in pregnancy, every pregnant woman has the scan done, and usually between 18 and 12 or 22nd week of pregnancy, the scan that can detect very, very complex congenital heart abnormalities. And this is extremely important because when we are aware and the parents are aware of something is abnormal, of course has to be confirmed, but another maybe opinion and another specialist or fetal-maternal specialist, but then the delivery can be planned better. Sometimes we need to even transfer the woman, pregnant woman, to a facility which will be capable to provide all care necessary for the woman, for the mother, but also for the baby. But typically, after birth or during the birth or just after birth, when baby is born, pediatrician or neonatologist can assess very fast whether something wrong is going on. It is usually the baby. It depends on the color. The color can be blue, or problem with breathing, or low weight, or tachypnic, when some oxygen level drops, usually gives sign or some warning sign to look at possibility of something is going with the heart morphologically or functionally.
So I guess as I listen to that, it's probably even more important, perhaps, again, if I can invite Dr. Hewlett into it, for that care during the pregnancy. Okay, after the delivery, great, get your checkups, but go to the physician during your pregnancy, get the scan during the pregnancy.
Certainly, antenatal care is very, very important for any pregnant woman, but certainly it allows, because of having adequate antenatal care, where ladies are followed by gynecologists or fetal maternal specialists, if needs be, high-risk gynecologists, if they're a high-risk pregnancy, to be able to identify any possible problems that may come up in birth, so that, like Dr. Kriegel say, that you're adequately prepping for that, because a baby that's born very sick obviously would need immediate attention.
In the Cayman context, and I was trying to look, statistics, per 1,000, and I wonder, do we know how prevalent? What's the incidence, the frequency of sort of congenital heart defects within, our system?
Yes, prevalence is almost the same. Prevalence of congenital heart defect is around 9 per 1,000 people. So if in Cayman we count, 70,000, so it will be, we can count around 700 plus minus roughly people with congenital heart disease. Doesn't mean are very complex. Many times congenital heart disease, because when we talk about it, we think about the cyanotic heart disease, very, very sick babies, very sick teenagers or adolescents. But congenital means many times is detected really in late age, like some simple defects which play some role later on in life is also congenital. Like, for example, the PFO, we can talk a little bit later on what consequences of PFO has. It is 20% of general population has PFO, is patent foramen ovale, which is asymptomatic. But in some circumstances, for example, like patient is diving or can cause the embolic stroke. And then when we investigate, like retrospectively, we try to find out sometimes in young adults why we're dealing with stroke. It is one of the reasons to look at whether this is not the cause of complication. Like sometimes bicuspid aortic valve, which is very common, is most common congenital heart abnormality, doesn't give any symptoms at birth, doesn't give any symptoms even later on. Many times is detected incidentally, but at some stage of the life can give some problem with the aorta is getting more dilated, can even rupture later on. So this is huge diversity of congenital heart disease, from very mild, very, very simple to very complex. And so this individual approach has to be applied to.
And maybe just trying to help us again as, adults, they're uninformed, those who probably, if we look at young people, even young adults, and their level of activity in school, playing sports, just their physical exertion. There are two things, in addition to whatever science or knowledge that we may have. Are there any particular things that should be concerning relative to that child or that young adult's active engagement and participation in contact sports, in exertion, and the like, if they have a congenital heart issue?
It's always this question arises about the sport, about physical activity. So generally, the physical activity is recommended for everybody, and everybody with even congenital heart abnormality can exercise on mild to moderate exertion. But of course, when we are talking about competitive sport, it's a little bit different problem, and such patients have to be evaluated very individually. It has to be done during the rest and during the exercise. Particularly, we pay attention to of course, the blood pressure, to the heart rate, to possible arrhythmia at rest and on exertion. So, and we do for everybody echocardiography. We do ECG. We do thorough physical exam, medical history, family history. This is everything very important. We do echocardiography. Right now, echocardiogram is so available and so common to do the ultrasound of the heart. We have the different type of modalities, including 3D echo, which we can see very nicely the heart. So we assess the structure of the heart, we assess the ventricle, first of all, but also the valve, also the vessel, and we do the same on exertion too. So we do a lot of stress tests, a cardiopulmonary stress test, to assess the functional capacity, to make sure there is no any arrhythmia which can be provoked by exercise, to assess what's going on with blood pressure, with heart rate, with saturation, with oxygen. And of course, there are some exceptions when we advise again competitive sport, particularly with very obstructive lesion, like very tight or very severe pulmonary stenosis or aortic stenosis or severe pulmonary hypertension, or when patient had the palliative treatment or surgeries, like we can talk a little bit about Fontan procedure after very, very complex cyanotic heart disease. Sometimes there is contraindication to participate in competitive sport. Marfan disease, when it's a disease of the aorta, which is getting bigger and larger, can rupture anytime. So some exception, but in general, sport and exercise is recommended, like all life, like healthy lifestyle for everybody with congenital heart disease too, because they have something congenital plus acquired condition, which we try to avoid as well, because for this group of patients will be more serious.
All right. So when we come back from the break, continue the discussion, and maybe ask our listeners to particularly pay attention to the importance of heart health, why this congenital, as Dr. Share with us. We'll take some calls if they want. Please join us after the break. Stay tuned.
They say variety is the spice of life, and that's why at Subway, we're introducing the new boneless hot sub. Say what? The premium sub brings new ingredients like spicy breaded boneless chicken, French's crispy fried onions, and buffalo wing sauce, bringing a zesty and flavorful experience with every bite. Add some of your favorite veggies, cheese, and ranch sauce of your choice of freshly baked bread for the ultimate boneless hot sub. For a little spice in your life, try the new boneless hot sub from Subway.
So good and tasty.
And make it a meal with a drink and chips or cookies. Subway. Eat fresh.
When we can't find the words to express ourselves, the right greeting card does just that for us. This Valentine's Day, greet people with love through our wide selection of Hallmark cards and more at ValueMed Pharmacy. More than a pharmacy, ValueMed has thoughtful gift ideas to help celebrate the love you share with family, friends, and heartstrings. From designer perfumes and colognes, bath spa sets and grooming kits, to chocolates and specially curated Valentine's gift baskets, ValueMed Pharmacy has gift ideas and greeting cards to help connect and share with your loved ones, with free gift wrapping offered for any in-store purchases. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and Bodden Town.
It's Tuesday, and you know what that means. It's 2-for-1 Taco Tuesdays, and it's happening all day long at Tucker Restaurant and Bar, located in East End and West Bay. Who doesn't love tacos, especially when they're 2-for-1? Featuring specialty tacos like peanut chicken, blackened fish, pulled pork, vegetarian, and coconut shrimp. And of course, all of your favorites. Enjoy 2-for-1 tacos and 2-for-1 margaritas every Tuesday at Tucker Restaurant and Bar, all day long in East End and in West Bay.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Can I send a request, please?
You don't really have to ask us. Just send a request.
This is a shout out to my ex.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon, and then welcome back. Thanks very much for joining us. We have the good company of Dr. Kriegel, and I will do it right this time. She didn't tell me, so maybe I should check. Dr. Yulette Ivy. Did I get it right?
Yes.
Yay! I get a chocolate this case. No, to her wonderful family and husband. Doctor, very proud of you. I remember you studying early on, and it just shows you persist, and from a distance having, I wouldn't want to say a colleague, a mentor, an inspiration like Dr. Kriegel to work with.
Certainly.
Man, you can only get
only get better.
Yes. So I say that to hopefully, if the government would allow me to give them a compliment. Sometimes they say I probably don't. We have such a fantastic, facility within our Health Services Authority. Commitment, dedicated staff. And let's see how we can always raise the bar and improve it. So thanks to both of you, Dr. Kriegel and Dr. Yulette, and all the other team. Really a special public thanks.
Yeah, it is privileges still for me to work at HSA, and I am also pediatric cardiologist. That's why I feel a little bit comfortable to talk about the pediatric cardiology and congenital heart abnormalities. But because it's only one facility which is equipped in neonatal intensive care unit, and the babies are born there, they have really very good care from nurses, from pediatrician, and because of that I am many times asked, which I am very grateful, because they called me and to do the heart ultrasound, to do this first evaluation for the heart. So
I'm hoping that we will continue to raise the bar, respect and appreciate, value what we have, but also ensure that we don't reward mediocrity, but we don't hesitate to show praise. Before we get to our phone, as we discussed during the break, and have the opportunity, maybe sometimes what is it the parents tell us? Proof is in the pudding. You want to know how good the food is, right? To you and your son. But first, just do a small intro, and then introduce your son, and then we can get into the discussion. That'll be okay?
Sure.
That way I feel more comfortable.
Sure. Good afternoon. My name is Suen Bodden, and I'm a mom of a child that was born with a congenital heart defect. His name is Kelano.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Kelano. I am 18 years of age, and I was born with a congenital heart defect.
When I was looking at this discussion, I'm always grateful when Dr. Maeve and Dr. Kriegel would come in, because it makes me feel comfortable knowing that the discussion is going to be in a way that's very informative. We can come away being inspired and feeling confident. But then, as a parent, no matter if you're 100 years old or you have 1,000 children, how many children did Abraham and Isaac have anyway? Or whether you're one time just have one parent, you feel it. So
That's
from
true.
that perspective, Ms. Vaughn, what is it? What is that like? How did you know? How did you find out? Give us
Okay,
that.
so Kalana was born in Jamaica, and at 3 days old, he was actually admitted with a very high fever. In doing all the workup for the fever, they realized that he had a very loud murmur, as well as he also turned blue. So at 3 days old was when he was diagnosed with truncus arteriosus. However, he was being managed in a cardiac clinic and he was fine, but at 7 months they decided that he needed to have an open heart surgery. So he was actually flown to Cleveland Clinic. That was a bit nerve-wracking, being my first child, and no one in the family known to have any other heart conditions. So being flown to a foreign country to have an open heart surgery on my 7-month-old baby, you can just imagine the feeling. But the team over there, they were wonderful. I mean, they provided all the explanations necessary. But yet, seeing your tiny baby on a ventilator with all those tubes, I broke down. It was really tough. It was.
And this is why I appreciate the discussion initially with our doctor, so that we get to the point. But I want to be guided by you, not just want to be sensitive, but perhaps in your voice, as a mother and as a parent, you start to appreciate it. So before Kalana get into the discussion, let's join our callers. Now, I don't want you to mess up your hair. I use the headsets to put on my phone, but you put on the headset. The rest of us will follow suit. We'll take the caller, and you look pretty good with that on, man. I don't know, Susan, what do you think? Not bad, huh? Yeah, she doesn't like it. Boy, that's okay. All right, Dr. Kriegel, Dr. Ulett, we have mom and son. Let's go to the phones. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sterling.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you today?
And not good as you. You have two wonderful young ladies there.
Three, sir. Three.
Oh, three.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. So that
absolutely amazing, young ladies.
That is why you didn't go and get. So that is why you didn't go and get your hair cut today, Sterling.
No, I actually had an appointment early this morning, but I decided since Kalana was going to come in, I wanted to show my braids as well. Have my
I know that is beautiful. Well, good evening to the ladies there, doctor. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
We have two doctors and a mom. Yes, sir.
Well, two doctors and a mom. I can't be a mom anymore, but I'm too old now. But I can't handle the babies anymore neither. I done passed my 3 scores and 10. But doctors, I'm asking, as for health wise, I usually do all of my blood works every 60 days or 90 days. I do that quite often. But I also take a statin 40 milligrams and a CoQ10 every afternoon. Every afternoon. And I was told by my doctor, which I haven't had any problems with my heart yet. Just only when I talk with Sterling, I get problem with my heart. But
so it's too much love and your heart can't feel it. I mean, we're getting close to the news, right? So I don't want to make sure I get too jovial with you and you forget, get a chance to share what you want to say.
Yes. So I'm asking the doctors, is that a good diagnosis that I'm on? Because I don't have any problems so far with cholesterol. So is the statin and the CoQ10, is that a good combination? And I'll hang up and wait for your answer, but thank you for that.
I'll leave it with Dr. Kriegel, but
it's not really congenital heart abnormalities, but of course we are happy to answer this question. How we evaluate the patient? We evaluate the cardiovascular risk factors and cardiovascular risk to have the stroke or to have the heart attack. So doesn't mean everybody has to be on statin. Depends whether you have cardiovascular risk, depends on your age, first of all, depends on whether you have diabetes, whether you have hypertension. I understood you don't have such condition. whether you have family history of cardiovascular disease, whether did you smoke in the past. So this is very individual evaluation, whether is needed even to be on statin, what is your target cholesterol level, because we don't need to bring down for everybody to the same level. For somebody who had the heart attack, for example, we want to bring down the bad cholesterol, which is LDL, below 70 or even lower in some condition, in some individuals, but not everybody, not in entire population. The same number is good for everybody. So what we usually ask, we invite the patient to our clinic for discussion, individual discussion, and assessment the cardiovascular risk, and adjustment, the best adjustment of the medication, because not always we need to take them. If you compliant with diet, with healthy diet, lifestyle, exercises, many times patient doesn't need to take. Depends on the individual indication.
And perhaps we have the news break now, and then but when we come back, but as we get ready for the news, Ms. Bond, you were sharing. We want to hear, because many times as parents, it doesn't matter if your child is 7 months old or 70 years old. If you're a parent, that's still your child.
It is.
Right?
Absolutely. But it's just that when it comes to seeing a baby with all those machines, all those tubes, it's scarier. Now, when Kalana had his last procedure last year, at 17, I'm more comfortable. I know he's aware of his condition. We know what to expect. It's different. And he's had 2 open heart surgeries so far, and he's had 3 stenting procedures done so far. And we know that there's more to do, but we're now more comfortable having accepted that this is a condition and that the cure is available and accessible here. For most part.
Yeah, well, I mean, think about it. I mean, it's such a, it's a small jurisdiction, but, and again, I could be wrong, but your perspective, I think we have an amazing resource within this country.
I totally agree. Yeah. Because now he has like echocardiograms and ECGs done and stress tests every 6 months to a year. And Dr. Krieger follows all his measurements, and then she advises when he needs to go. He needs to go away. Excellent.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not saying that to promote. If anything, I'm hoping that we would respect, ask for continued support, investment, both from resources but from personnel. We shouldn't take for granted.
We shouldn't.
When you come back, would it be okay through you to speak to Kalano and ask, what is it like? I mean,
I will.
I apologize to you. You could be 90 years old if your parent was here. I would still speak to the parent. That's how I think it should be always. But as a handsome young man, we have a conversation. There are physicians, so more parents that appreciate the things we can do as we look after our own health and speak specifically to congenital heart defects. Okay, let's pause. Let's take a break. Let's look for some chocolate. All right, stay tuned. We'll talk today.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins. The Cayman Islands Health Services Authority advises Little Cayman residents and visitors that the visiting doctor clinic scheduled for Wednesday, February 15th will be moved to Friday, February 17th. Patients with appointments will be contacted to reschedule. Patients can call the clinic at 916-5395 if they need urgent medical care. In international news, one of the world's most promising chess players, Sarah Kadam, decided to play at an international tournament without her headscarf in solidarity with the protest movement in Iran. She thought a warning would be the worst that would happen to her. Instead, she can't return to Iran. There are arrest papers waiting for her, and she now lives in exile in southern Spain with her husband and 1-year-old son. She and her family asked the BBC not to reveal her precise location. Their worry is that there may be repercussions even thousands of miles away from Iran. Police have issued a warning after a string of armed robberies targeted people wearing Canada Goose winter coats in Washington, D.C. There were at least 7 reported robberies of people wearing the popular luxury coats between December and February. Some of the robberies took place near George Washington University, prompting the campus to issue its own advisory. The prices of the coats stolen range from $550 US to nearly $1,500. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Things are so busy. 2 things I always seem to forget: to look after myself and Valentine's Day. Best Health Pharmacy, the game changer, fellas. Stocking purses, perfumes, jewelry, not to mention filling my prescriptions and medicinal needs with free prescription delivery in Georgetown and West Bay. Best Health Pharmacy, located at Crown Square Plaza on Eastern Avenue, across from Edie's Decor. Making my life a bit easier this Valentine's Day. WhatsApp your prescription to 924-5358. Best Health Pharmacy. Your health, your convenience is their priority.
Valentine's Day is around the corner. Your friendly neighborhood pharmacy, Savannah Pharmacy, is here. Valentine's Day cards, gifts, and more. Don't break the bank to show your love this Valentine's Day. Whether you're shopping early or scrambling last minute, Valentine's Day made easy at Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, just around the corner, with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thank you very much for joining us. I think it's very fitting that we happen to have on Tuesdays our continued partnership with Health Services Authority, and it just happened that we were able to organize and orchestrate February 14th to fall on Tuesday so that we can talk about heart health. I mean, the things that Susan can do, man. You call her up, she can arrange your calendar just like that. Well, Dr. Kriegel together with Dr. Hewlett, and Ms. Warden, as we speak to Kalani, congenital heart defects, as you shared, as a parent, your young child, just the slightest little indication that they maybe have a little sniffle, and most of us, that's our baby, we want to protect them.
That's correct.
But then things transpire. Kalani, if I may ask of you, you probably, like some of the young children, even when you're in the womb, you probably knew what's going on. So you can tell us what you remember from there, but if not, that's fine. Fast forward to when you do remember to where you are now. What's life like? What is it for you? How is it?
Life, I would say it's not how I would want it. Because I'm a very active person. Like, go hang out with my friends, go play basketball, something, but like, I have to take it easy. Can't just full dive into it and like overexert myself because I'm hurt myself. Yeah. Because growing up, I did swimming a lot. And then like play basketball, go to the beach, go swim. But after a while, at the diagnosis, I was told to take it easy with the sports and just do less. So I stopped swimming and I did walks every now and then, played basketball, but I went swimming every now and then at the beach, but that's about it.
Well, I'm told, life is a marathon, not a sprint, so if you're 10 years old and you're, running 100 meters and, you do it in a flash, or you could just walk it, and then when you're 100 years old, you're still walking. Which would you prefer? So you're taking a stride, right, Mom?
Yes, that's correct, Mr. Sterling.
With that, though, I mean, again, from the perspective of you always want to be with your children. You want to give them enough nurturing, love, support, and independence. My mother still calls me and says, "But did you have food tonight?" I'm like, "Yeah, I did. Do you have anything I can get?" Because if you got a special meal, you always check on your children.
So that's me right now. So every night I say, "Kelano, have you taken your aspirin?" Because right now he's only been maintained on aspirin daily. So that's me every night. I don't ask him about the food because I'm sure he'll eat.
Yeah, I can see that. No, but in a way I say that, and thank you for sharing. As the other side, as the child, no matter how old you are, when your parents check on you, if I might, as a parent, just out of love. It's not they babying you, not that they don't trust you. They just, that love is so, so ever present. It could be the aspirin, hey, did you do this? Did you do that? Learn with it, man. It's a wonderful thing to have a loving parent. If I could then ask, though, maybe back to the physicians, as we're seeing more and more and more that we are starting to appreciate the advances in medicine, the ability to detect things earlier and through the scans, and focusing specifically on congenital heart defects, and like Dr. Kriegel and Dr. Hewlett. We know the scans, we know the things. Are there anything particular that the expectant mother, and if it should extend to the father, that they should say as they talk to their OBGYN, hey, we want to make sure that we're looking for these things specifically? Is it the family history? Are there things in the mother's lifestyle, diet, or past history?
With respect to causes, if you're asking about causes of congenital heart disease, obviously, as you rightly said, adequate antenatal care is important for mom and baby. But there are specific things to kind of look out for. If mom is taking certain prescription medications during pregnancy, those could put mom and baby at risk of congenital heart disease. Some of the medications, like say antipsychotic medications such as lithium, even use of alcohol or illicit drugs or excessive alcohol intake during pregnancy puts baby at risk of being born with congenital heart disease, specifically stuff like atrial or ventricular septal defects. Also, any type of illicit drugs, amphetamine, cocaine, those obviously would put mom and baby at risk in pregnancy, but
and this is usage during pregnancy.
Usage during pregnancy, yeah.
Yeah.
Other things such as mom being born with, mom having infections, like such as specific viral infections during pregnancy, stuff as like rubella, rubeola. So all of those things would be routinely screened early in the pregnancy to ensure that there's no, that's not picked up in pregnancy, and that's kind of looked out for, because you anticipate that might increase the baby's risk of having congenital heart disease.
Now, what about, and it should be obvious to us that, the mother's health, the antenatal, her lifestyle and the like, but what about the father? I'm thinking epigenetics, I'm thinking DNA, I'm thinking, they're consciously planning to start a family, during that conception stage. Is there anything on his side that could potentially present
There are some congenital heart abnormalities related to genetic syndromes, like Down syndromes, like Turner syndromes, like Noonan. It's different name, very rare condition. Second thing, so sometimes genetic testing is also important. Second things, when parents they have congenital heart abnormalities, the risk having baby with congenital heart defect is much higher. Is increased, and is higher when mother has congenital heart abnormalities, but is also increased when father has congenital heart abnormalities. In some, it is vary from 1% in general population to sometimes to 15. It's different statistics. Sometimes it's apply like to even 40% in certain heart abnormalities, particularly the aortic valve, Marfan syndrome can even reach 40% risk of having the baby with similar condition, not necessarily very severe, because the clinical presentation can be different, can be not so severe like in parents, but it is one of the risk factors as well. I think we should mention at this point about the diabetes in mother.
Yeah.
But maybe this is something which we observe almost in daily practice because the female are getting pregnant later now. The woman is in
so gestational diabetes
40, and the treatment and control of diabetes in pregnancy is very, very important, because if diabetes is not controlled well, the baby has high risk to have the like VSD, ASD, PDA, but also are born with very big heart because insulin level is excellent growth factor. So baby is we call big. This macrosomy is big, and also the heart is big. And we saw quite a lot, to be honest, sometimes when the baby's heart is as big, the wall of the heart is bigger than in adults, just in newborn. So later on, after few weeks, few months, everything returned to normal. But the defects like shunt, like VSD or ASD, sometimes they need some even intervention. So this is extremely important.
I think this is where that discussion initial as best as we can with screen and genetic testing can help us, and it comes back to what we have available here that sometimes we take for granted and don't appreciate. Dr. You mentioned lithium and the like. With great respect, I know a lot of us, young adults, late teens, we are on different medications, perhaps for ADHD or different things, and as we get into that age where we want to start a family, potentially any things that we should be concerned.
So of course, because there are certain medications that would increase your risks of having a baby that would be born with congenital heart disease. Once you have decided together with your partner that you want to start trying to conceive or trying to have a baby, if you are on medication, prescription medications, that is something that together with your gynecologist you have a discussion about, because then with your gynecologist, with your psychologist, psychiatrist, they would be able to make adjustments to accommodate you being controlled and your other medical conditions managed during pregnancy, so that you reduce the risk of any ill effects for baby.
Ms. Bond, we do everything we can. I mean, some of us very consciously decide, I'll go to bed earlier. I'm going to eat more of this particular fish, for argument's sake, because we're told it's good for us, or I'm going to start this folic acid supplement. We do everything, and still some things just transpire. You shared your own experience. You didn't know.
Yeah, that's so similar. So, for example, antenatal care, went by the book, did everything, had all my supplements. Saw the physician on time every time, did all my ultrasounds. And even at birth, it was fine. It was only because he had that high fever that he was admitted. And because of that, they realized that he had a heart condition. Even after doing everything correctly.
It was a trigger of the heart underlying heart condition that fever triggered some symptoms which directed the physician to look at.
3 days after birth.
Yes,
That's what you shared, right?
3 days after birth.
Yeah, and as I listen to that, again, the attentiveness of not just the physician but parent, their active engagement and involvement in being an advocate, but also having the resource available within country. It's key. Now your hearing came on, and sharp fella. Right? Does that put you, or access to other jurisdictions if necessary?
Yes, it does. Yeah. Because now, as I mentioned, we see Dr. Kriegel frequently, and we have all his checkups done. So his ECG, for example, if I needed to go to the emergency room at the Health Services Authority, I know within very reasonable time he would be seen. He would have his ECG done. More than likely, they'll consult Dr. Kriegel. And if she needed to see him, she would see him in a very reasonable manner.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried. If he starts having chest pain in the night, okay, let's get dressed. Let's go to the Health Services Authority. And I know that he will get the care he needs.
If I may add something, in such complex condition, it's very important to have the good care and to be aware where this care can be delivered by. We have very good doctors, very good facilities, but we are still aware some procedure we are not able to do here. It is not too many people, not too many patients live with still, in comparison to entire population, with such complex abnormalities. We need to plan, if we can plan, but we need also to take into account the entire life. So it's not only today, but what will be in next 20, 40 years. We don't know in some condition the natural history, what to expect, because of development and progress, technological progress. The babies can survive now to the adulthood. And to be honest, we have more right now the patient with congenital heart disease adult than children, because of progress in technology. They survive, they live longer, but also it's very important if they have the access to very specialist clinics and facilities which specializing only in adult cardiology, in congenital heart disease. Because in some cases, in some clinical scenario, they need still to go overseas to get the best treatment. Treatment, intervention is less now the surgeries. Of course, it's still surgeries are needed at early stages, and this many times is stage surgery, means some intervention done as a newborn, in some cases later on, some shunt created, later on taken down, the final surgery. And right now, like Kelano, he needs just intervention, so just to provide in his condition to provide supply of the blood to his lungs. So he needs stent, a little bit bigger stent than we use in coronary artery in heart attack, because pulmonary artery are simply bigger, but it's still the same type of procedure. So intervention, not necessarily open heart surgery anymore.
All right. Well, let's take the final break, and we'll invite you, both of you, if you wish to share, so that we start to celebrate and appreciate life. The wonderful resource that is within here at HSA, Dr. Kriegel and Dr. Ulat in particular, but what it means, and maybe that call for us to continue to invest in resource, including our people. All right, after the break, we'll continue the discussion. Please stay tuned.
Ro Variety, centrally located in Tropical Plaza on Smith Road, carrying a wide range of household items, bathroom accessories, towels, clocks, handbags, clothes, shoes, jewelry, and more, and more, and more. You can buy from the big box retailers or support local. The better deals come from shopping local. Ro Variety Store, Tropical Plaza, Smith Road. Telephone 924-9553.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Dwayne Porter will be taking appointments from February 13th to 18th at his Crew Road Clinic. Clinic appointment slots are limited, whether you're seeking advanced skincare, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles. Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email dr.porterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That is 946-9020.
It's time for the event of the season. Miss World Cayman Islands presents the Bows and Stilettos Fashion Show. Ladies, come dressed in your favorite stilettos, and gents, wear your most dashing bow tie. Join us on Saturday, February 18th at Sea Alyssa for a night of fashion, flair, and fun. Cocktail hour, 7 p.m. Show starts at 8 p.m. Tickets available at ticketsplus.ky. Buy before February 1st for the early bird discount. Come support our Miss World Queens and past contestants and Girl Power members as they showcase Cayman's finest clothing at Bows and Stilettos, February 18th.
Healthcare Pharmacy, caring about your health for the past 25 years. Radio Cayman's premier health show.
Alzheimer's and dementia, are they the same disorder?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Is heard on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor, where they care about your health. Transfer and refill your prescription online. Visit healthcarepharmacy.ky or call 947-8900. Healthcare Pharmacy, now with a new and second location in Governor's Square. The new Healthcare Pharmacy in Governor's Square is open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Healthcare Pharmacy, where they care about your health.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
The changing. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us, and thanks very much to Dr. Kriegel and Dr. Ulet for joining us. And as we look at, congenital heart defect, it's on one hand, sort of, no pun, disheartening that we have these things in our society, but on the other, to know that we have the level of care, the competence, but also the compassion to be able to live, to celebrate, to get people along. If I may ask, Ms. Wana, as again, as a, not just as a parent, but as a mother, most of us will, no matter what happens to us, where's mommy? We call for our mothers. At least I think so.
I just want to give thanks, and I'm grateful that my child has life and that he's able to get the interventions that is needed to keep him looking healthy and having a healthy life, other than playing sports competitively with Mr. Sterling, because he's so tall. That's the first question. Kalano, do you play basketball?
See, I get that thing all the time. I feel for you, bro. I feel for you. But don't worry, man.
To the whole not being able to play sports thing, I've gotten used to it, but at the same time, there's this yearning to do more when it comes to the sports. Because I think I could do really well in swimming or even track. Like my mom said, basketball. But at the same time, I feel like, excuse me, even though I can't do it, I know I can just slowly work my way up to be able to do the basics. You have to hold my own against, let's say, a little basketball game against my friends. So I've been, in recent years, I've been slowly taking it easy and not always trying to push myself to the limit, try to keep up with everyone else, but learn my own boundaries. Because that's the thing, that's the hardest thing going up with a congenital heart defect, and having to take it easy with sports, wanting to be able to keep up with everyone else.
If it's okay to ask, and please guide, because I keep thinking increasingly, and it may be the same for all young people, it may be more so for males, but I probably would relate much more easily. If it's okay through you as his mother, as a young man, you want to play sports, you want to be out there taking them on, you can take them to the hoop.
I know, right? I can do it, just I have to limit myself. Yeah.
What does that do for you? And I'm prayerful that I say to you what a friend said to me, don't let the mental anguish, that part, you don't dismiss it, but don't let that beat you down because you have, physical inability doesn't mean otherwise. Perhaps easier said than done. It was only when I took that on board that I appreciate it. It's good advice, You have to live to play another day, You win today, maybe you win tomorrow, but once you're around to compete, how does that play out for you,
The way I originally started to make myself feel better about it is I'm living, I'm breathing, I have a happy life, can't complain about anything. So I'm like, you know what? Playing sports ain't gonna be the end of the world. I can do whatever I want in the future. I can go to school, I can eat, I can do whatever. So to me, at the end of the day, it's something I can dream of. I may not get to do it, but it's so.
Where there's light, there's hope, they say.
Yeah.
I think, Dr. Cree, that's where, as we listen from the family's perspective, having excellent health care that is managed, that is attentive, that not only we trust the competence, but we have that confidence in the ability, you can go through life and
absolutely.
Huh.
I think they can live normally. As I said, when I see them between other people, you don't know who is who, to be honest, and not always. Sometimes yes. And I am always really inspired. I mean, I am inspired of our patient in general, but I am inspired the children as well, because we do realize it is when baby is born with something very serious, it is problem, or entire family is involved from the very beginning, because they need to spend time in the hospital, they needed to go somewhere overseas for a long time, is for months sometimes, and later on over time, as you said, they keep an eye. Always is somewhere, I think, behind some this. Maybe something is will not go fine. Maybe shouldn't do this. Maybe shouldn't do that. But from other hand, they are very, very strong because it's built strong relation in the family. I believe in the community as well. They need sometimes the support from the community, and this is something which I want to thank you for.
Yeah. And that's inspiring, because when we know that we as a patient are doing something, and as we meet with our physician, you can see hey, you listen to that advice. That advice they're giving you is actually helping your quality of life. There has to be.
Certainly, with time, we found out a little bit more, like new procedure available. They are getting older. They need more procedure, even some catheter ablation, arrhythmia, because sometimes they experience the arrhythmia. So with progress in medicine, in cardiology, in particular, interventional cardiology, different subtype of subspecialty, they have good chance to live longer. Of course, we don't know. It's not only to live, but to provide relatively normal life. Of course, it's with some challenges, particularly for young female with possible pregnancies, which also we need to counsel and to ask specialists how to go through. We need psychologists, some support.
That integrated approach. Including the discussion. If I could start with you, as you look at everything, I like the spirit, the enthusiasm, the zeal for life, the gratefulness. What would you say, especially to anyone else with CHD, but just in general, to our young people? Because sometimes we don't always get it.
I would, excuse me. I would say is live your life. Life is short, and we should appreciate what we have. Because I wouldn't have think that I would have made it this far. Because honestly, I was very sad at some points because I couldn't participate in sports day with my other friends and do all this stuff. But looking back, I had no reason. Living, breathing, and made it to 18. Gonna turn 19 soon. So just live life and appreciate it all, because we don't know when we're gonna lose it.
That's for all of us, man.
That's good advice.
All of us. As a mother, what would you say? I mean, your closing thoughts for this discussion, and
just want to say to all the parents, be grateful for the 10 fingers and the 10 toes. And if your child does have a medical condition, of course you're going to seek care and ensure that you listen to your physicians and trust them. And be grateful that we live in a place where we have access to good care. Of course, there's some things that can't be done here, but the physicians here are educated enough and knowledgeable enough to transfer persons as needed. So I know it's hard to say don't worry, because as a parent you're going to worry, but you can rely on the fact that we have good providers here who are knowledgeable, who can offer their services to us and take care of our little ones when it's needed.
Yeah.
And I'm truly grateful that, my son is going to be 19. Could I have imagined that? I'm not sure. But I'm grateful that he's here living, breathing, well, healthy, doing good in school.
Thank God.
And being a good young man so far.
Amen.
Hoping we'll meet in 10 years. So.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yes, Mr. Stern, in 10 years we'll do a reunion session.
Yes.
Hey. You know what? I may be governor then, but I'll come back for it. No, but that's the laughter that we have through the love that we have for life. And I like your spirit. And I think it's important that we recognize the wonderful facilities, the excellent care that we have here. And maybe as a wider society, we draw alongside and support, encourage our children into the medical profession, encourage our governments to allocate their tax spend, for the necessary budgets. And we start to speak highly of what we have instead of castigating so quickly. Dr. Ullette, if I might, closing thoughts from you, Mark.
Thank you for having us. It's been a good talk. I do think Kelano and his mom Sue are awesome patients together, and they are very aware. But and as you listen to her and you hear about how she anticipates anything and how if she picks up on a sign or a symptom, she seeks help adequately and in a timely manner. I think that's the kind of things that you should do. Because congenital heart disease, like Dr. Kriegel is saying, you see a lot of people now where you're seeing it later on, like they have lived in or later on in life, just to kind of be aware that there are signs and symptoms that you should pay attention to, that you should not ignore. So if you have, say you're a teenager and you're feeling irregular heartbeats, or you're having dizziness or any type of intolerance to exercise, or feeling faint, or any swelling to the legs or anything, seek medical attention, because sometimes congenital heart diseases defects are not detected right at birth, because there are some that are less complex and are not detected right away. They are detected later on. So not to ignore those symptoms and to seek help. I know sometimes people shy away from seeing the doctor for whatever reasons, but just to pay attention to your body. If you're not feeling right, seek attention and get yourself checked.
Okay. And Dr. Kriegel, what words of wisdom and other inspiration you want to share with us?
Thank you. Thank you very much for having us again. This time we're talking about the younger patient and not only younger because they survive till adulthood now, but we are more focused on the newborn, preterm and very early stage of the life, which is very important from very beginning, because congenital heart abnormalities, to be honest, they occur in very early stage, in first few weeks of the life, and what we have later on is strongly related to this very stage of the life, and we make journey from the birth to the end of our life, and we try to, as a physician, support everybody as much as we can, and I am grateful for this to have this opportunity to do it. And we invite everybody as well, because I know sometimes we do so many echocardiogram for the heart murmur, and majority of heart murmur is innocent. But from parents' perspective, I do realize and I understand, because whatever is related to the heart, even if doctor or general practitioner say, I can hear heart murmur, so next day or the same day the parents are in the clinic, they want echocardiogram, which is many times it's not necessary, but I understand the anxiety. Mm-hmm. And we are trying to accommodate as many patients as needed.
Well, thank you. I know, as we shared, you not only as a part of the cardiology clinic instill that confidence, but you provide that compassionate care, and you're available. I just trust that you continue to have the strength and the health and the resource to be able to do so. So thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. To you, Mr. Ford, blessings, man.
Thank you.
Embrace life, love the family, and
thank you.
Thanks. And to our listeners, please join Mr. Art in the morning for the record. Come back for Talk Today after the midday news and midday meditation as the week unfolds. Let's be a gracious and grateful part of it. Until then, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays.